Hi, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm Roy Tate, and this is for Dr. Sada's Fall Term American Christian Heritage class and for our first discussion board. I chose to cover the article by Carla Pestana titled The Quaker Executions as Myth and History. The article was featured in the Journal of American History, Volume 80, Number 2, September 1993. The article is very well written and seemingly superbly researched and cited, and as the title suggests, leads the reader through the developing facts and subsequent myths surrounding the execution of 4 Quakers, beginning with Marmaduke Stevenson and William Robinson in 1659, then Mary Dyer in 1660, and lastly, William Ledra in 1661. After the executions, the Puritans had to change their policy on executions. They realized that the Quakers weren't going to stop defying their banishments. But the real game was in the historiography. And the meat of this article is in fleshing that out. Each side would try to write their own history. The Puritans attempted to stay defensive by justifying the executions religiously. But soon they shifted to just trying to discredit the Quaker movement. Cotton Mather was one of the major contributors to define the Puritans and their story. As another author named Lewis Weeks points out, Mather had 3 distinct relationship stages with the Quakers, which more or less coincided with the whole Puritan movement. Weeks says that Mathers initially ruled out Quakerism as the worst possible religious perversion. Mathers then moved on to separate the Quakers into 2 groups, the good Quakers and the bad Quakers. But then he finally attempted to meet the Quakers in the middle and found areas of common doctrine, religious doctrine and concern. But from the Quaker side, though, they could move to the offensive. They used their martyrs to defend and define their image. They helped rally and shape a generation of Quakers. The initial historical response from the Quakers was to curse the Puritan for their deeds, to bring God's wrath. But quickly, they calmed down and attempted to steer the narrative in their favor. An example of this is a letter written by Mary Dyer while incarcerated by the Puritans the first time she was kicked out of the colony. Author Johann Windsor compares her letter with one edited and released in her name by Edward Burrough, an English Quaker. Dyer's letter was full of heartfelt emotion, of prophetic warnings, and of declarations of divine judgment. But Burrough took that and toned it down to a more palatable level. And as Weeks says, he took it from a charismatic movement to religious movement, from individual to corporate, and from radical to respectable, which again followed the whole historiography for the Quakers following the executions. In conclusion, Pestana's article was great, and I found myself being more and more drawn into it as I read, and more curious. I found another article written by Madeline Ward about the same topic. And her article helped confirm the quality of Pestana's work as it followed the Quakers' theological and historiography following the executions as well. That concludes my video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing all of yours.